The research question is, how can multi-user virtual environments be designed for vocational education and training? Research on moves used in education rarely present the details of the process of the education design and software development of a move for a given vocational context. Although a few studies present software architecture designs with testing of the system in educational contexts, none have studied the interplay between educational theory and software engineering in detail, of moves in detail. The aim of the study was to develop a multidisciplinary method for the creation and maintenance of moves in effective vocational education and training. The approach used was to study the development of methodology for producing carefully designed move-based teaching and learning interventions for a particular vocational situation. Etienne Wenger introduced himself at his presentation of practice landscapes at Bristol University in 2012, reflecting on the focus on research and practice and yet to be in practice research presented by Chancellor of Research Professor Brown. Dr. Wenger describes his work as theory building rather than research, indicating research is yet to come and hence his work is in the domain of yet to be in practice research. This study considers theory and practice, taking practice theory or pragmatism as an underpinning of the approach taken. Nonetheless, a positive perspective is taken in the design of educational design-based process. That artifact is then used in the consideration of regularities and causal relationships in its application through cases. An interpreter's perspective is taken in the cases in the design of instruments as required in the enacting of the process, for example, structured interviews. The design-based research undertaken inculcates legitimate peripheral participation as a theory of learning and TPAC as a framework that considers technology in the study of a methodology for designing moves for vocational education and training. Hence, this study attempts to move theory to practice in research. Like the case study method depicted by Yin in 2009, the DBR process in this study started with a collection of theoretical frames that filter the development of the interventions. Using a pragmatic perspective, the DBR process was applied for revelatory purposes through the development of two moves in two different contexts. When the DBR process is treated as a case study protocol, design and development of each move is a separate case, through which the overall DBR process is under investigation, giving the appearance of a holistic multiple case type 3 design. The hybrid design-based research for agile software development methodology, as depicted here, is a phase methodology that is informed by selected theories. A description of the first enactment of phase 1 of the hDAS processes was undertaken in the design of a temporary traffic management move, while the second enactment of phase 1 and the first enactment of phase 2 in the context of design of a ship's bridge multi-user virtual environment. The hybrid design-based research for agile software development methodology is a phase methodology in which first phase identifies a move-based intervention for a course with practitioners. Phase 2 is implementing the intervention for a course with students, and a formative evaluation is undertaken. And phase 3 is semi-summative evaluation of the design, a reflected process that's undertaken potentially throughout. Design-based research is informed by educational theory, and design-based research is guided by agile software development, and agile software development is in turn influenced by design-based research. A particular aspect of hDAS is the swims that participants take in the phases and between phases and over time. A swim is considered to be a period of time in which a participant is within the project, and it is thought of as an aspect of the software, agile software development method that has been discovered as part of the discovery of hDAS. According to Reeves 2000, design-based research is under the umbrella of developmental research. It's the research that involves the analysis of practical problems, development of solutions with a theoretical framework, evaluation and testing of solutions in practice, and documentation and reflection to produce design principles. Design-based research has its origins in design experimentation, as described by Anne Brown, in which she describes the complex situation within the classroom, in which there's synergistic effects between the range of aspects within that classroom. Design experiments have also been described by Collins and at the same time as Anne Brown, or similar time. Cobb and Hunter. Cobb was a mathematical design experimenter. Hunter in particular identified trajectories in the design experimentation, learning trajectories, which are coherent or correspond with learning trajectories and legitimate peripheral participation. Phases in this process, in this hDAS process, are attributed to McKinney in her Cascade C study and through Plom. The phases are the same phases as described for the hDAS, but in this case we're talking about the process and relationship between component activities. Of particular interest is that sprints are integrated into the design research. Gathered data is at as many points as possible. Semi-structured interviews, audio recordings in World, and agile software development backlog lists. In this research, the design-based process was seeded with theory. Educational theories were enacted in practice, and what emerges from that practice is evidence which can be evaluated. The research proactively and explicitly induced analysis with reflection on educational theoretic frames. In this study, legitimate peripheral participation and TPAC as they are applied in practice to the design of interventions using a move in live courses. This provides an ongoing process for further research into the design and development process in authentic situated contexts. The inculcation of those theories was undertaken through the design of data gathering instruments such as a semi-structured interview that was used to gather requirements for the implementation of the move. These are treated as orthogonal in the sense that while using TPAC informs the design with respect to technological concerns, it does not necessarily interfere with the process of a novice or a person attempting to become a part of a community of practice in their legitimate journey from the edge of the community of practice into becoming fully participant. In fact, these complemented each other to a certain extent. It has been observed that instructional design is making a ongoing increase in structural and complexity can be addressed by taking a paradigmatic shift in instructional design. Instructional design methods, for example, ADDIE, become increasingly complex as they adjust to reflect the application of theory. The ongoing increase in complexity can be addressed by taking a shift towards design-based research and the implementation and the design processes which are adapted and inculcated to current theoretical understanding A multi-user virtual environment is defined as a virtual world designed within an ethnic domain or a vocation. This reflects the conception of Langer of a virtual world as an expression of or viewed through an ethnic domain or an ethnic reality. So it's posited here that a virtual world for vocational must be within the for vocation must be within the cultural reality of a particular vocation. The design of a move as a design in digital medium with technical learning affordances, the virtual world of a particular vocation can only properly be expressed by members of that vocation. For example, move for vet is an expression in the digital media that comes from that vocation. Multi-use virtual environments are in parallel considered a form of massively multiplayer online game without gameplay. Move is a third generation virtual world which is persistent and immersive through the internet. Software development method tailoring was used within or posited within this research, and modified Scrum was applied. Contingency factors use select from a portfolio of complete methods, whereas method engineering create a new method. We must note the one method per project perspective presented by Alistair Coburn. In this project, the relationship between vocational artifacts and software development is noted in terms of the way that the agile software can be thought of as a search in vocational artifact space, in which certain developments towards a given artifact or intervention may actually be reusable. The hDAS methodology includes participant swims, and this is an example of such a diagram in which we have artifacts and services identified at the bottom, events that happen in the middle, and participant swims at the top. This is a swim lane style notation which goes early in time from the left to right, and communication between these various events identified by arrows. So the outcome from the project was that TPAC that focuses on the technological effect can't be avoided, and it's actually relevant. The fact that it's relevant can't be avoided because of moves. The best outcome in the TTM case appears to have been from TPAC that opened up a semi-structured interview producing very valuable information. In the ship's bridge, TPAC had a similar effect. A legitimate peripheral participation in the ship's bridge case was stronger sense of community. In the TPAC case, in the TTM case, the temporary traffic management case, it was treated as necessary but not central to the discipline. Hence, that may be an explanation for the ship's bridge communication was treated as an integral part of the trainee's vocation. Future work, TTM move at Technical Institute 2, ship's bridge, other institutes, other theories, other technologies, and potential other vocational contexts. Roles taken by the participant, limitations, roles taken by the participant researcher as a software developer, manager, and technician researcher. The one-man band is affected and needs to be carefully managed. There is a single platform implementation when it could potentially be other implementation. And just as a note, research is DBR. Producing artifact on a given artifact is not generalizable. This ongoing DBR research study has discovered a novel design-based research agile methodology by enacting a design-based research methodology in a pragmatic way through taking interpreted turns during each phase. The moves illustrated in this thesis have clear purposes identified in detail through the methodology, which is one key to improving the design and application of simulations in education. Authentic learning with situated immersive role play continues to offer exciting possibilities for education and strategically important industries working in high-risk contexts.